episode 54, Podcast. Thanks for joining. You know what to do. PejTheManiac, Podcast on YouTube, and all of my social media. Make sure you give me a follow. I have a real fun guest today, and our topic is humor in all things. We're going to talk about comedy. We're going to talk about the importance of laughter. We're going to talk about how humor is so healing, having a sense of humor about difficult things in the world, in the real world, quote unquote. We'll talk about what she used to do on set when she did some stand-up, focusing on the little things that create joy, which we'll get into as well. But without further ado, my guest this week is none other than Negin. Thanks for joining.
Hi, thanks for having me, Pej.
Oh my God, yeah, it's a pleasure. How is sunny Southern California going?
It's really sunny today. It was a nice 73 today.
Nice.
Sunny.
Yeah. It's like, is there any day that isn't really sunny? Do you guys get those?
We do once in a while, and we just take that moment and complain to our landlords or whatever.
Oh my God, yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah, exactly. It's all their fault.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this start with this. You said you like to focus on the little things that create joy, like specifically a $2 milk frother. What's this about?
Oh yeah, I went to IKEA recently. I work out of WeWork right now since we're working at home, and they have free coffee, and I like to think of myself as a little barista there. So I go and like get the espresso, get the milk, and then I just like mix it, and it tastes like whatever. Yeah. But then I went to IKEA and I got this $2 frother, and then got my Oatly oat milk, and now I just like froth it. I feel like I'm Blue Bottle in there. And
wow,
it's amazing. I mean, I haven't done it in a couple weeks, but
yeah. No, man. Are you more of a coffee person or a tea person?
Definitely coffee. 100%.
Yeah, same. I'll do tea as like a casual, like, hey, how are you, and all that, but it doesn't do anything for me. I don't know if I'm just become like immune, but you know, yeah.
I trust coffee people more, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those tea people, they lie a lot. I checked. Well, cool. So let's talk about what you used to do. And I've seen some of your hilarious bits when you had posted some of them online. But yeah, what is a set that you'd want to talk about that you did when you were doing stand-up? And how did you get into that, by the way? Start there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, kind of similar to you. I always, loved to make people laugh and grew up doing improv and stuff. And then when I moved down to LA, I wanted to make friends, and I wanted to like perfect or get better at storytelling. Mm-hmm. So I took this all-female class, made some friends, and then at the end of it, there was a couple showcases, and then I just kept going with it a little bit. So yeah, it was really fun. And got to talk about a lot of the little things that happen every day that people can relate to, and it was really fun.
Well, good. And how did you like this? How was the process of going on stage the first time?
I like blacked out.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The first time was really hard. You didn't know what to expect, but it was really fun. Every time that you're putting your set together, that I think is the tough part, because you're trying to like punch up the jokes. Mm-hmm. You're trying to see like what will hit. So you'll try it out on people. Yeah. And then you memorize it, and that part I think is really hard. But once you're on stage, it's fun. Like that part is the fun part, the performance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's true. Like how do you have a method to your jokes? Do you come up with the punchline first, or do you come up with the setup, or does it have like you don't have a rhyme or reason to it?
It's been a little while since I've done this, but usually it comes out of the things that I say in my daily life. And we're trained to sort of listen to what people laugh at and then make a joke out of it. So I'll say something and I'm like, oh, that got a good laugh. Let me bring it in. So And then, yeah, if I think a concept is really funny, then I'll think about it and then try to punch it up like you're just saying. Sometimes there's like a rule of three. You'll say 2 or 3 things, and then the last thing is, something you wouldn't expect, and that surprise creates laughter.
That's true. And me taking improv, I'm learning about that too, right?
Cool.
Yeah, it's really it's like a big deal to not overthink things, and that's something that was my biggest challenge. Is I try to make it like a home run, and it's like, no, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's in the simplicity, actually. So but
sometimes the funniest things you can say is just what you're thinking in your head that you don't say out loud. But like that, and that always that laughs for me. Is like the things that I'm thinking about that I'm like, I'm not gonna say that, and then like, let me say that. And it gets because everybody's thinking it. I don't know.
It's true, because the bold choices there, and that's where the gold is sometimes. So but man, we do need humor, man, because I agree with what you said when we were discussing having you on. You were mentioning how making light or coming up with jokes with otherwise serious downers that are happening in the world. Like, I mean, it's been happening so much already with like COVID and the masks, and we have a war on our hand. Hooray. It's like I feel like we need it, I feel like people are looking for reasons to laugh. It's easy to get sucked up with all the energy sucking like negativity out there. So it's like, how do you take that? And I've seen some hilarious stuff about like Russia, and I've seen like hilarious things, and it's okay. It's just a joke. And that's the whole point, right? Have you heard any stories or had seen anything recently, or thought of things that are otherwise like sensitive topics that people are like, or you just saw a joke about it or whatever that you thought, oh, that's a good take on it?
I mean, there's a lot of people joking about the gas situation. I saw this video yesterday that was like the different types of people who are angry about gas. It's like there's somebody who's panicking, someone who's angry, someone who's this, someone who's that. And then there's like the Tesla owner who's like, do you want to play video games on my screen?
Dude, I'm seriously considering going electric right now. It's crazy. Yeah. Are you an electric, or are you doing gas though?
Yeah, I've been electric for like the last several years, but I just got a Tesla.
Nice.
So I really recommend it. I am that Tesla person. I'm like, what gas problem? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Let's just keep making Elon Musk richer. That's the plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, those cars are great. Yeah, I've been thinking about. I mean, there is a car I found that's electric, and it's a truck, and it literally looks like a Hummer.
Is it Rivian?
No, but
okay.
Little known secret, my neighbor has one, and it's cool. It's like, I saw it and I was like, what? It was crazy. Like, I hadn't seen one before till in person. But it's not that. It's called Bollinger, and it's out of Michigan, but it's also like you have to basically like sell a body part to buy it. It's pretty expensive. But I mean, if I could have a dream car, that would be it. It's fuel efficient, obviously. It's like, it's electric, and then it's it just looks so rad. It's like, I'm using an LA word, so
that was so cool.
Yeah. Hey, I'd like to fit in with my guests. No, it was like, it looks so killer, and maybe I'll throw a picture on it as a graphic here. The Bollinger's out of Michigan, and it's like they only have 2 models, and it's just they're hitting the market. I don't know. I want to see one in person. I still haven't. I saw it. I just found it like online. But anyway, I think that'll be my first electric car if I can save up my piggy bank. But
and you can really like sell it to yourself. I'm like, I'm doing this for the environment. It's not because it's a cool car or anything. It's like, this is for the environment. So you can really
they can now hang with any gas car. Like, it's not like as far as like performance, they can outdo a fast car. Not that I'm like I race or anything. I learned my lesson the hard way when I was 16, not to race. But yeah, it's great. What's the gas price anyway? Like, when you drive by in your electric car and you like point at the
$6.
Jeez.
I'm picking up everybody. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm giving rides.
You need, you know what?
Everybody's burnt out.
I saw a funny bit. Like this dude was reselling gas for 10 cents cheaper, like in front of a Chevron. And the guy comes out and he's like, what the hell are you doing? This is the sixth time this week. It was so funny. And he goes across the street where he can't, it's not his property. And he's like, yeah, what are you going to do now? It's just, but dude, you should be charging if you're going to be driving people around. Like,
Yeah, good point.
just go like 15 cents less than gas price. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
my sister gets in the car. I'm like, you thought this is an Uber.
Yeah,
You're
we're not
paying
sisters. Yeah, we're not sisters right now. You're just a passenger.
You're paying for dinner. So
Yeah. Oh man. So what is your go-to humor? Let's talk about like some of your favorite comics or comedy inspirations growing up or even now.
yeah. I think my biggest inspiration growing up, and I don't know if I've ever said this, if you're watching Hassan Minhaj, this goes out to you. He went to college with us. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah,
there.
Davis. Yeah, he's a Davis alumni, right?
And
yeah.
we kind of had some of the same circles. And I remember he was going to do stand up. And that was the first time I ever knew anybody that was thinking about doing stand up. So I was like, that's interesting. And he was really good. He was really funny even back then.
Talk about a guy who takes real world problems and makes light of it. I love it. Totally. Like he also teaches you something, like you're learning at the same time you can laugh. And I don't understand why more companies and more people don't try that, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You met him. That's awesome.
Yeah. We used to sort of hang out back then. And I always thought he was really funny. And then I wasn't surprised when he started to make it. He was hilarious. And then I also really started to just love, I saw a lawyer once who did stand up and I was like, you can do that? That's really cool. And then from there, I just started to admire female comedians, especially those who were comedians of color, like Mindy Kaling, even though she doesn't do stand up, I don't think, but she's so funny. And
yeah, she is.
I really like Ali Wong.
Oh my God, she's hilarious.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
I recently and I like Chelsea Handler a lot too, but I recently started to listen to Joe Coy's humor. He's good.
Yes.
Have you heard him?
Yeah. He's hilarious. You know what I found out recently is that him and Chelsea Handler are together.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was amazing to me. Like I saw it on their TikTok. I'm like, what? They're a couple? That's cool.
Yeah.
So
the people that I listen to now, like my favorite comedians, you wouldn't see on like Netflix. There's a bunch of them in LA that I follow. Like there's this one girl, Leslie Lau, who did a stand-up set a mile from my house. And I was like, I don't care what I'm doing that day. I will be there. She's like one of my top people. So there's a bunch of them that you wouldn't know probably, but that I think could make it eventually.
Hopefully. And the local comedy scenes are always like, you get so many gems.
Seriously.
Yeah. And by the way, not all comics aspire to be on Netflix. Not all comics want to do it as their main source. They just do it because they love it and they want it to be more of a local thing, and that's great. There's a few great hilarious comics out here, and one of them just got onto Amazon Prime. Well, not just got to, he's been on now.
Do you recommend?
Oh, for sure. I watched his special. Yeah. He was actually on here a few episodes ago. Lance Woods is his name. Look him up. And I went to his show when he was playing in Sacramento. Talked to him. He's giving me some good advice, valuable, and he's hilarious. He does some urban comedy. He does a lot of situational comedy, which is hilarious. And check him out. And anybody who hasn't seen him, go watch his special on Amazon Prime. Free plug, Lance. You owe me.
Awesome.
But cool. Did you ever care for physical comedy? Was that ever something you were into?
I didn't do it myself, but I think when it's done right, it's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, like obviously Jim Carrey was the king of it, but I thought Robin Williams did a great job of
I love him.
Physical. I know.
R.I.P.
I know. But Yeah, I grew up on like enjoying physical comedy first. I guess that was my
Really?
first love was physical comedy because
Mhm.
it was easier to well I mean for people who haven't
Yeah.
guessed, English is my second language. There's some uh actually Persian comics that do physical comedy too. And so that I feel like it was easy to have a wider range of audience with physical comedy because you don't have to understand what they're saying, right? So it was just like anybody could laugh at that. And my aunt in Iran is her favorite comedian is like Jim Carrey, and she doesn't even speak English.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's funny, yeah, because so it's like that's cool to see, um and he's doing that at 60 still. Like to me, like that's incredible.
Cool.
Um,
Do you remember Mr. Bean?
oh my God, yeah.
That one too. You don't need to speak the same language to understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful
I
thing.
watched that in Iran. Like that was a hit in Iran. Like because
Really?
it was all silent. No, like Charlie
Yeah.
Chaplin, right? Like all of that was like it was never like it was always on. So
Mm.
here's the funny thing. In Iran we had a tube and it only had three stations. And cable wasn't even like it was considered like lordship, like you didn't have that. But what's funny though is like it was three channels. And the interesting thing about TV in Iran, well, at least when I was there, I haven't been back for almost 30 years, but it was they played 20 to 30 minutes of continued ads before the show started. So it was like you didn't get ads in between, like old school TV here does. So like it was interesting to me. But like now people complain about like a 15-second ad on YouTube, and it's like, oh, I guess I need to subscribe so I don't get these ads. Dude, I watched 30 minutes of an ad until my show started. Like it was like continuous.
You
Like
had to work for
never.
it.
Yeah, you had to earn it exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always showed Mr. Bean, Charlie Chaplin, Laurel Hardy, like all of the physical stuff
Mm.
was always on. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. The uh, the first. Actually, this is what I wanted to ask you, and then we can wrap it up because I know we're both on kind of a time crunch. But the first comic or funny thing that you remember, like growing up, like that you still think is like that was so funny as a kid, or even however long ago it was.
I told this story actually recently at a dinner party. One thing that was funny about my childhood, is that your question?
Just something that, yeah, you still consider like one of the funnier things that you grew up remembering. One of your first memories.
Okay. In kindergarten, I was not a smart child. We'll just put it that way. I was not smart,
It's not.
but I I really wasn't, and I'll tell you why. I'll
Okay.
tell you a story.
All right.
There was this day in kindergarten. I never knew the answer to anything. She would ask kindergarten questions that she would go over with us repetitively, and everyone else knew the answer, and I never knew the answer, not once. If I raised my hand, I would get it wrong. But this one time in class, I knew the right answer. I think the question was something like, "What's 2 plus 2?" It was something like,
yeah.
And I knew the answer, and I was so excited about it. I raised my hand immediately. But as I was like standing there raising my hand, I suddenly remembered over the weekend, my mom got these felt tip markers for me that like had paint in them, and you could kind of paint with them. And I was like, oh my God, I should tell these kids that. Like I may have the floor, and I may need to tell them that instead of the answer. So I was like thinking, it was like this internal struggle. Do I tell them the answer and like maybe make it seem like I'm actually kind of smart, I know something this time? Or should I tell everyone now that I have the floor that I have these markers that my mom got me? So the teacher called on, and I was like, my mommy got me markers this weekend. And like,
Yes.
the kids were like, okay. And the teacher was pissed off. She was like, nobody asked that. Like, give us the answer to the question. So I just think I would always do stuff like that when I was little. I was just not.
Were you considered a clown? Like class clown?
No, I think it was just like, that girl doesn't know a lot.
I think that's what you think, but I bet you people thought that was funny. Because I think if I was in that class, I would have laughed.
Totally. I would laugh if a kid got
yeah.
so far off. Yeah.
Okay, it's funny because I teach kids now, so I can totally see that. And by the way, it has nothing to do with your genius. It has to do with just being kids.
Yeah.
I'm like teaching music to them, and like it's kindergartners, and then in the middle of like me like describing an instrument from China or something, and they'll be like, "My grandparents are coming to visit." I'm like,
I saw your video.
Yeah. That's a true story. That actually happened. Yeah.
So funny.
I know, man. I know. Kids are the best, man. And, hey, lesson to all adults: let's all be more like kids, because you don't really take life that seriously, and everything is just love and pure and sweet.
Seriously. Can you imagine if we were like not worrying so much about what other people thought? Like if that was me now and I said something totally wrong and the kids laughed at me, or somebody laughed, or somebody was like, that was wrong, like it would like destroy. But back then I was like, what's the big deal? I got harders and you need to know about it. Yeah. And that's it. Like, who cares about the answer?
Right. You know? Yeah. Your question was wrong. Yeah.
Your question was wrong.
Exactly.
But yeah, like they're so silly and they're so creative and they use their imagination. We could all really learn a lot from kids. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. With you. Are you do you ever imagine yourself having kids? Like how many kids or whatever? I know you're one of 3. So is that a
yeah, I definitely want to have kids someday. We'll see. Hopefully 2, maybe 3.
Do you care what it is? Girl, boy?
I want girls.
You want girls?
I want girls, but I do also probably want boys too.
I just don't know if I can deal with another one of me. So I also agree with you.
You want girls?
Yeah, for sure.
Your girl dad? Cute.
I do. But knowing my luck, it's probably going to be a boy. But it's okay as long as it's healthy, right? That's what they say.
Yeah. You're going to be such a good dad.
Aw, that's sweet. I don't know. We'll see. I work with kids, but it's like I'm renting them for like an hour and then they're, either free. Yeah, I don't have to go home with them and then like change their diapers. And then later, like they say having a girl is good when they're kids, but when they're, teenagers and stuff. And I see that now with my nieces because they're like, one of them is super studious in her books. The other, like, I can't wait to go to college, party and all this and all that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I just see like her parents and my sister and her husband. They just look like defeated, like they just lost like a 12-round fight. But yeah, it's cool though. I think I can deal with that still more than having a boy that's just like drawing all over the wall. But yeah, hey, do you want to plug any social media or anything? Do you want people to find you?
Sure.
Yeah.
I do these punny greeting cards. This is like the leftover from my stand-up. I wanted to do something to make people laugh and figured out sort of a little bit how to draw. And so I make greeting cards now. And you can find them on Instagram at joy card, joy, like 3_ card.
3_ okay.
Yeah. Joy card was taken in every other format. So
what a bunch of
in every other configuration.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it brings you joy, makes you laugh. I'll be putting more up as time goes on. I love it. And I do custom cards too. So people always message me and say, can you do a card for my friend or whatever? So
that's awesome. Hey, you know where to go. Joy 3_ card.
3.
She's talented. She's hilarious. Negin. She also has a secret talent. She can sing, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh my God, you're so sweet.
Hey.
You taught me how to sing.
Remember? With my big ass keyboard. Yeah, I remember.
We went to college together.
Yeah, we did. Aggies, baby. Negin, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy woman and putting some time. It is Saturday for people who are curious, but this is coming out right now, which is a Tuesday. And it would be Tuesday, the, 13th, 14th, 15th. So yeah, today's the 15th for all intensive purposes. You know where to find Negin. Joy 3_ card. Go laugh, have a good time, order something from her, help her out. She'll help you out by laughter, which is what we all need. I'm PejTheManiac, Podcast. This has been episode 54. You know where to find me. Thank you, Negin.
Thank you. You're so fun to talk to.
Oh, thanks. Same.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you on episode 55.